So today I want to tell you about a synthesizer and amp combo I've been working on. It's a companion piece and sound source for my Banjo-Synth instrument. While it looks like it's just an amp, if you open it up, you'll find it's actually a MIDI synth as well. It's intended to be a standalone, fully functional synth engine that's an alternative to using a computer or DAW, or a more typical MIDI module. It's battery powered for portability and has audio out so you can plug it into a bigger amp or PA system if you need to. So in this video I'm going to go over the different aspects of the build, how the sound source and the Banjo-Synth interface together, and at the end I'll play some music without any talking so you can really hear what it sounds like. There will be chapter markers through all of this, so skip around as you'd like. First, let's talk about the enclosure itself. So the whole thing is housed in a vintage Argus projector box I got from the thrift store. It's got this beautiful vintage tweed, and it was just a really cool looking box. Here's what another really similar version of this looks like in its original state. I had to do a lot of carpentry on this box to make it all work, but it's almost like it was built for this use. The ventilation holes are perfect for the controls, and the way it opens up into two halves, it works out perfectly because the top half can house the speaker and all the components, and the bottom half can house the electronics. Next, we've got the speaker and the amp. It uses a 5-inch JBL home audio speaker that I also thrifted. I took the speaker apart and basically put all the components into this tweed box, so I had to cut all the holes, make sure everything fit, etc. I grabbed this 5-inch grill cover online too and made it work with the speaker. It's powered by a small 50-watt amp that can accept a range of DC power, 9 volts in this case. This amp actually has a Bluetooth connection as well, so the whole thing can double as a really cool looking and killer sounding Bluetooth speaker. Let's talk a little bit about the battery and MIDI interface. I wanted the whole thing to be battery powered so I could easily take it outside and play. I actually already had this pedal board power bank that I used for another project. It's a rechargeable battery and has plenty of 9-volt DC plugs and a USB, so it's got all the plugs I need for the project. That being said, it's a little big. If I was to do it from scratch, I would try to find something a little smaller that doesn't have as many plugs. It also uses this USB MIDI host interface to convert the USB MIDI to 5-pin serial MIDI. The sound module needs TRS MIDI in. It can't be a USB MIDI host. So if you're using USB MIDI, you have to convert it over somehow, and this was kind of the easiest way to do it. But perhaps the most important element of this whole thing is the Daisy Pod made by Electrosmith. This is what generates the sounds. It's basically a DIY synth that is customizable with code. There are tons of videos out there dedicated to these, so I'm not going to get too detailed about its capabilities, but needless to say, it can do a lot. I've programmed mine to be a polyphonic synth with separately treated lead and bass sounds. Here's a quick overview of its specs. It works in tandem with the buttons and knobs on the Banjo-Synth so that it can control most of the parameters, presets, and effects in real time. It also has an HTML interface that can connect to the unit and visualize its settings a little better. So let's talk about the controls. There are basically 3 columns on this macro pad. The left column controls the synth settings, the middle controls the effects, and the right column controls the bass instrument. So when pressing the first button on the macro pad, it activates the master volume, the 4 waveforms, which are sine, triangle, saw, and square, and a master pitch that transposes the whole instrument. The next button activates the envelope settings, so I've got attack, decay, and release for the lead voice. The third button activates the filter settings, so cutoff, resonance, and envelope amount. The fourth button gets us access to the LFO. So we've got depth, rate, and a mode knob that picks what it's wired to. So in the middle column, we've got access to some of the effects. When you press any one of these 4 buttons, it activates that effect. And to turn it back off, you do a long hold. If you want to access the parameters of that effect again, you just do a quick press, and it brings into focus those parameters. So first we've got reverb with ascend, decay time, and pre-delay. Next is delay, which has mix, time, and feedback. Next button controls the chorus, which has a mix, rate, and depth. And the last effect is overdrive, which we've got a mix, drive, and level setting. So the right column controls the bass instrument. Both sounds, the lead sound and the bass, are treated as different instruments, so if the lead sound has a bunch of effects on it, the bass is still clean. They have a split point at middle C. So the first button in this column, we've got master volume for the bass, the waveform selector, and an octave shift. The next button down is the envelope settings for the bass, so attack, decay, and release. The third button down is the bass filter settings, so we've got cutoff, resonance, and then it's got its own separate chorus. Then the last button here is the LFO for the bass. So we've got depth and rate, and the third knob is actually a reverb mix that taps into the main reverb. So here are a few takeaways from the project. Overall, I'm really happy with the build. It's given me a way to easily play the Banjo-Synth that doesn't involve plugging it into a computer. This factor alone gets me focusing more on playing music and less on tweaking the software settings. While I don't foresee this setup replacing the computer for live shows anytime soon, it could be a step in that direction. The amp itself is loud enough to comfortably jam with other people, or maybe even take it busking. And between all the different settings, I'm able to get a pretty decent variation of sounds, which is cool. This has also brought me closer to my end goal, which is to house all of this inside of a banjo, so it's one self-contained instrument with a speaker and all. I think I can get there eventually. That being said, this is all pretty new and there's still a lot of things I hope to tweak and add as I go. I'd love to be able to get some sampled sounds into the mix, stuff like upright bass, kalimba, marimba, maybe a Rhodes or an organ. There are also some other effects I'd like to be able to work in, perhaps an envelope filter and a tremolo. And the other element that would really tie this all together is some foot controls to be able to tweak sounds with my feet. But for now, I'm going to play some music without any talking, using some of the settings I've been enjoying so far. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you around.